The 2025 Met Gala kicked off in an unexpected way, without a speech, but with a look that would send ripples through the fashion world. Vera Wang stepped onto the red carpet in a sharp, minimalist white gown that immediately demanded attention. While other stars opted for extravagant glam and jaw-dropping theatrics, Vera embraced a style that was icy, controlled, and powerful. Her dark square sunglasses, paired with an unbothered deadpan expression, sent a clear message. This wasn't about spectacle, it was about substance. No flashy poses, no forced smiles, just pure, silent defiance. In a room full of high drama, Vera's choice to remain expressionless and understated stood out. She didn't need to shout for attention. Her fashion did all the talking, and it spoke volumes. The fashion world quickly buzzed with speculation. What was the true meaning behind her icy white gown? Was this a statement against the glam-driven, profit-hungry side of fashion? Was Vera using her presence at the Met Gala to silently confront the industry's darkest truths, exposing the hypocrisy and manipulation that lurked behind the glossy facade? This wasn't just about Vera Wang making a statement with her fashion. It was about a shift in the way we view luxury, ethics, and celebrity influence. Her entrance didn't just challenge the dress code, it challenged an entire system. As whispers swirled and online gossip gained momentum, one thing became clear. Vera wasn't just dressing for the red carpet, she was dressing for war. And the battle she was ready to fight? It was much bigger than a mere fashion moment. It was about revealing the truths that the industry had worked so hard to conceal. Vera Wang's arrival at the 2025 Met Gala wasn't just an outfit, it was an undeniable statement of power. As she stepped onto the red carpet, she effortlessly defied the typical celebrity spectacle. Her ghostly white gown, with its sharp, minimalist silhouette, exuded an air of untouchable elegance, while oversized sunglasses gave her an almost judicial aura. Cold, composed, and completely unbothered by the frenzy around her. In a sea of over-the-top glam and extravagant theatrics, Vera's look was a silent confrontation, sending a message that elegance didn't need to shout for attention. She didn't need the applause, the flashy poses, or the drama that everyone else seemed to crave. Her fashion spoke louder than anything else in the room. Almost immediately, the buzz surrounding Vera's appearance took over the Met Gala. Celebrities and journalists whispered amongst themselves, captivated by her refusal to play the game. Why wasn't she posing for the cameras like everyone else? Why wasn't she indulging in the over-the-top antics that defined the night? The unanswered questions only fueled the intrigue, and within hours, TikTok accounts and fashion insiders were dissecting every angle of Vera's bold look. The internet was ablaze with theories, with users speculating about the deeper meaning behind her unbothered demeanor. It was clear. Vera wasn't just attending the Met Gala, she was making a statement. Her presence on the carpet wasn't just fashion, it was commentary, a powerful statement about standing firm in a world of fleeting trends and manufactured glamour. But what was Vera really saying? As the theories swirled and the whispers grew louder, it became clear that her entrance had ignited more than just curiosity. It had sparked a conversation about the very essence of luxury, truth, and authenticity in an industry known for its polished illusions. Vera's silent protest was a challenge, and the fashion world couldn't help but wonder, what was she confronting, and who was she really speaking to? As Vera Wang's icy, defiant Met Gala moment unfolded, the fashion world was already reeling from a scandal that threatened to shatter one of its most prestigious icons, Hermes. In the months leading up to the event, whispers turned into a full-blown uproar about the luxury brand's hidden secrets. Hermes, long celebrated for its exclusivity and finely crafted Birkins, was allegedly outsourcing the production of its coveted bags to uncredited factories in China. This shocking revelation directly contradicted the brand's carefully cultivated image of made-in-France craftsmanship, a label that had once been synonymous with high-end luxury. The fashion industry was shaken to its core as the truth began to seep through, exposing how these iconic bags were being mass-produced in factories far removed from the romanticized French ateliers. The foundation of the luxury myth was beginning to crack. The scandal wasn't just a corporate mess. It was a direct attack on the very principles that luxury fashion had been built on. And at the center of this storm was none other than Kim Kardashian. While the world digested the growing allegations, Kim was seemingly caught in the crossfire. But according to rumors, she wasn't just a passive observer in this unraveling crisis. Many speculated that Hermes had enlisted Kim to help control the narrative, using her massive social media presence as a distraction. Every time the outsourcing controversy resurfaced, Kim conveniently posted rare, high-profile Birkin bags on Instagram, making headlines for her unmatched collection at the exact moments the scandal was gaining traction. Was it mere coincidence, or was this a carefully orchestrated PR strategy designed to steer the conversation away from Hermes' questionable practices? The timing of Kim's Instagram posts raised a major question. Was she knowingly playing a role in covering up the truth? As the rumors about her involvement swirled, the possibility of a calculated effort to manipulate public perception became more plausible. Was Kim paid to distract the public from the scandal, to flood the internet with images of luxury and exclusivity, just when the truth about Hermes' supply chain was starting to leak? As this narrative took hold, it became clear that the stakes were higher than ever for both Kim Kardashian and the luxury brand. The Met Gala wasn't just a fashion event. It was the backdrop to a much larger story, one that was about to explode into a full-blown crisis. Vera Wang's entrance at the 2025 Met Gala wasn't just a fashion choice. It was a defiant declaration that sent shockwaves through the fashion world. The sharp, clean lines of her gown and the cold, unblinking gaze beneath her oversized sunglasses exuded an aura of control and purpose. While the Met Gala's red carpet was filled with extravagant suits, gender-fluid designs, and bold color choices, Vera stood apart in her minimalist white gown, rejecting the chaos around her. It wasn't just a rejection of fashion norms, it was a rejection of the very system that had created them. Vera's unbothered demeanor and stark outfit weren't just a style statement. They were a silent protest against the excess, the facade, and the corporate manipulation of luxury fashion. White, a color traditionally symbolizing purity and clarity, was Vera's weapon of choice. But her decision to wear it in the midst of the dark, edgy fashion energy surrounding Kim Kardashian spoke volumes. While others embraced the glamour of the Met Gala, Vera stood in stark contrast. Her look was about truth, transparency, and a fierce rejection of the illusion the industry had sold for so long. While the fashion world had become obsessed with the surface, Vera used her gown as a sharp critique of the industry's obsession with distraction and spectacle. It wasn't just a moment of fashion, it was a statement of independence from the world of curated personas and manufactured narratives. Vera's entrance wasn't about fitting into the theme or adhering to the crowd. It was about carving out space for a new conversation in an industry dominated by marketing. She made it clear that the pursuit of truth and authenticity was more important than playing by the rules of an outdated system. As the internet and fashion insiders dissected her appearance, one thing became clear. Vera was making a statement about the system itself. She wasn't just attending the Met Gala. She was using it as a platform to reject the corporate games and manipulations that had long defined luxury fashion. In that moment, Vera Wang wasn't just a designer. She was a symbol of rebellion, showing the fashion world that sometimes silence and simplicity can be the most powerful form of protest. As Vera Wang's bold statement unfolded on the Met Gala red carpet, a viral TikTok video was simultaneously shaking the luxury fashion world to its core. A Chinese factory worker exposed a staggering truth. High-end bags, including the coveted Birkin, were being produced in factories in China, far removed from the romanticized French ateliers. These bags were then shipped to Europe, where they were stamped with the Made in France or Made in Italy labels, masking their true origins. The video went viral in a matter of hours, showing exactly how the only difference between the luxury bags sold in high-end boutiques and their factory-made counterparts was the label, nothing more. The illusion of exclusivity was finally being peeled back. The revelation hit consumers like a ton of bricks. For decades, luxury fashion had thrived on the myth of artisanal craftsmanship and exclusivity, with brands like Hermes positioning their products as the epitome of luxury. But the TikTok video shattered that carefully constructed narrative. The truth was out. Luxury fashion wasn't as exclusive as it claimed to be. And the high-end products we had been worshipping were far from the handcrafted masterpieces we were led to believe. As the video spread across social media, it became clear that the fashion world's most trusted narratives were fragile at best, and consumers were beginning to question everything. Vera Wang's icy Met Gala appearance coincided with this growing shift in perception, amplifying the conversation about the industry's manipulation and deception. The video, paired with Vera's silent protest, made it impossible to ignore the truth any longer. The luxury fashion industry was starting to feel the heat, and whispers of a reckoning began to grow louder. With the mask finally slipping, consumers demanded transparency, no longer willing to accept the glossy facades that had been sold to them for so long. As the myth of exclusivity crumbled, one thing became crystal clear. The luxury fashion industry could never hide behind its illusion of perfection again. The moment Vera Wang stepped onto the Met Gala red carpet, the fashion world was already buzzing with speculation. Was this icy white look a direct challenge to Kim Kardashian? The comparison between the two women was undeniable. Vera embraced simplicity, wearing a sharp, minimalist gown that symbolized truth, while Kim indulged in the complete opposite, an over-the-top, all-black ensemble that screamed luxury and excess. The stark visual contrast between the two was more than just a fashion choice. It was a battle between subtlety and spectacle, authenticity and distraction. The moment became an instant talking point, with fashion insiders and fans dissecting every detail of Vera's appearance. Instagram quickly exploded with captions like, "One's here for fashion, the other's here for distraction." The visual narrative couldn't have been clearer. While Vera's look was refined and effortless, Kim's outfit seemed designed to grab attention at any cost. Fans and critics alike began questioning whether Vera's outfit was a subtle yet pointed response to Kim's role in the ongoing Hermes scandal. Was Vera using her moment at the Met Gala to silently accuse Kim of being complicit in distracting the public from the luxury brand's outsourcing scandal? The idea that Vera's fashion choice was a form of rebellion against Kim's perceived role in the cover-up gained traction quickly, with many interpreting her look as an unspoken protest. As rumors continued to swirl, some speculated that Vera was saying, "I know what you did, and I'm not afraid to expose it." Was her white gown a symbolic gesture, signaling that the truth would eventually come out? By drawing attention to the fashion divide between herself and Kim, Vera seemed to imply that some were willing to stand up against the false narratives that had long been protected by luxury brands and their celebrity ambassadors. The message was clear. Fashion was no longer just about clothes. It was about ethics, transparency, and holding those who perpetuated lies accountable. Behind the scenes, Vera Wang's bold Met Gala entrance didn't just grab headlines. It sparked a firestorm of conversation that began to shake the foundations of the fashion industry. Designers, stylists, and publicists who had long been complicit in maintaining the glossy, curated narratives of luxury fashion found themselves reevaluating their roles. Vera's silent defiance had forced them to confront a hard truth. Had they unknowingly, or knowingly, helped cover up corporate fraud and exploitation in exchange for profit? The industry, which had long thrived on secrecy and the illusion of exclusivity, was now under intense scrutiny. As the whispers grew louder, the realization settled in. Vera wasn't just protesting against one brand or one scandal, she was calling out an entire system built on deception and manipulation. The glitzy facade of luxury fashion, once revered for its high-end craftsmanship and exclusivity, had begun to crumble. What had once been sold as made with care was now exposed as a carefully controlled narrative designed to profit off consumers' trust. The ethical reckoning was inevitable, and Vera had started it with a single silent statement. The floodgates were opening, and the truth was no longer something that could be hidden behind brand names and designer labels. The question was no longer just about who was complicit. It was about whether the fashion industry would take responsibility for the lies it had fed to consumers for decades. Vera Wang's decision to dress in simple white, a color symbolizing truth and clarity, was a line in the sand. It sent a message that the time for silence was over. In the wake of Vera's statement, the pressure on luxury brands to adopt transparency and integrity became undeniable. This moment wasn't just about fashion. It was about how an entire industry had to change or face complete collapse. The era of unchecked luxury manipulation was coming to an end, and the fashion world was bracing for a reckoning that would change everything. As the truth about the luxury fashion industry slowly unraveled, consumers began to demand answers, and the entire system was forced to confront its illusions. For years, luxury brands had relied on carefully curated images of exclusivity, sophistication, and craftsmanship to maintain their positions at the top. But with each new scandal, each brave whistleblower exposing hidden truths, the carefully built facade was crumbling. The industry could no longer hide behind the narrative of timeless luxury, and the lies that once shielded it began to fall apart. The demand for transparency was louder than ever, and the consequences of the fashion world's secrets were becoming impossible to ignore. Vera Wang's quiet yet powerful defiance at the Met Gala became the tipping point. As the fashion elite scrambled to protect their reputations, Vera stood firm in her refusal to play by the rules of an industry fueled by deception. Her statement was more than just fashion. It was a call for accountability. With her white gown symbolizing purity and truth, Vera sent a stark message to the luxury fashion world. The trust consumers once had in these brands had been shattered. No longer could the industry get away with manipulating narratives and profiting off false pretenses. Vera's decision to stand apart from the crowd wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a revolutionary act that forced everyone to examine their role in perpetuating the illusion. The reckoning was clear, the industry had to change. The luxury fashion empire that had once been untouchable was now vulnerable. With whispers of more exposés on the horizon and consumers demanding honesty, brands were facing a moment of truth. Vera's bold move had set the stage for a larger shift, one where transparency, authenticity, and ethical responsibility would be the new standards. The fashion world now had no choice but to adapt or face a complete collapse of the trust they had spent decades building. What came next would determine whether luxury fashion could survive in the age of accountability, or whether the industry's once untouchable status would be lost forever. The 2025 Met Gala wasn't just another fashion spectacle, it was a defining moment for the industry. Vera Wang's bold yet silent protest, symbolized by her powerful white gown, marked a turning point. In a sea of theatrics and excess, Vera's understated defiance spoke volumes, igniting a firestorm of conversation about truth, transparency, and the dark secrets lurking behind the glamour of luxury fashion. If the rumors surrounding Kim Kardashian's alleged role in the Hermes scandal are true, this Met Gala moment marks only the beginning of a much larger reckoning. The fashion world's carefully constructed illusions are beginning to collapse, and Vera's statement has set the stage for a complete transformation. The impact of Vera's message can't be overstated. As consumers and insiders alike begin to demand more authenticity, the luxury fashion industry is facing an unavoidable shift. The truth about corporate deception, exploitation, and manipulation is out in the open, and it's no longer something that can be ignored. The days of blindly worshiping luxury brands are over. Thanks to Vera Wang, the fashion world will never view luxury the same way again. The question now is whether the industry will rise to meet this demand for accountability, or if it will crumble under the weight of its own deception.